Hey friends, welcome to the channel. If you have asked yourself already if Busuu can really teach you a language, you found the right video. Los geht's! My name is Dustin. I'm an IT project manager from Germany. On this channel we create content that helps us to be productive, to learn new things, especially languages, and to live a happier and more fulfilling life. Today we'll do an update review of Busuu, since the last video I've made about the app is already about 2 years old. We will see what has improved, how Busuu can be a valuable part of your language learning, but also why it shouldn't be your main resource for your learning. Alright, let's dive into today's... Oh wait, first, you know what comes next? A nice sip of coffee. Los geht's! So there are different aspects that play a role in language learning. One is the ability to notice, where there has been a hypothesis with the name the noticing hypothesis. Quote, input does not become intake for language learning unless it is noticed, that is, consciously registered. So it can lead to more learning and speed things up, but we need to consume massive amounts of comprehensible and compelling input as a major part of our learning in order to acquire the language. I already did a video about the theory of comprehensible input by Krashen, and I'll also link it somewhere here. In a nutshell, it's content that's comprehensible, so can be understood at our kind of level, and also interesting, so compelling. And we also learn in the nature order, which means that we have to be ready to receive it or to pick up certain things. Otherwise we can't retain it. And with rising difficulty of content, we'll pick up grammar and other things along the way. The more we consume, the higher the chance we notice certain things. But we can speed that up by learning a bit of grammar and features of the language on the side, which will then lead to noticing more things when we consume massive amounts of content. Once we start to notice something, we see it everywhere, which is the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon in scientific terms. And this really speeds things up. I made the experience that especially at a later stage of learning, when you are pretty advanced, to actively work on your noticing becomes more and more valuable. There are many people who live in a foreign country, but at a certain stage stop to progress in the language. They've reached a certain level of fluency, but to further progress, they need to work actively on the language and notice things. This can happen easily to every language learner and often occurs at the intermediate plateau that many of us know. For that matter, apps like Busuu can be valuable. It's a nice addition to the learning, but it shouldn't be the major part. If you are just starting out with the app, you can either start at 0 with a language, or you can do a placement test to find out at which level you should start. So let's have a look at the available languages. There are big difference between those when it comes to the available content, so check that beforehand. Look at the available courses, but then also check the complete course out and see how many chapters there are and to which difficulty. But with Spanish, on the other hand, for example, you have a bunch of courses, and also within the main course, Complete Spanish, there are chapters from A1 to C1, in total almost 80, and each chapter contains several lessons. Turkish has only 2 courses, and the complete Turkish course has only chapters from A1 to B2, and in total just 24. Languages that are good and where you'll find plenty of content are Spanish, Italian, Dutch, English, French, German and Japanese. The other remaining languages are quite incomplete and are Turkish, Portuguese, I think it's Brazilian Portuguese, but please verify that yourself because I haven't learned Portuguese yet. Chinese, Polish, Russian, Arabic and Korean. I guess in future those languages will be further expanded, but I can't tell, I don't know for sure. Lessons are building upon each other. At the end of each chapter there's a checkpoint where everything gets reviewed that you should have learned within this chapter. Once you have finished that, you can move on to the next chapter, and you can also review lessons without restarting them. Also, it builds up vocab, grammar and understanding at the same time. You have exercises to practice all that, no absurd ones that doesn't make sense, or at least I haven't found any yet, like within Duolingo sometimes. So the different exercises are vocabulary, where you have audio clips with a picture and translation, and also often the words in context of an actual phrase or even full phrases right from the start. Then exercises to practice and repeat, also with recording yourself. Text that you should read and then get tested on them, videos that you should watch and then get tested on them, text that get read aloud and where you need to catch up stuff, dialogues that get read out aloud where you need to fill in the blanks, writing part of sentences or add in words in the right form and much more. Also the community aspect at the end of a lesson where you upload something written or spoken, which then gets corrected by other members of the community. You can review all phrases and words you have learned, and you can also review grammar. And this is super useful because usually when you do such a course, you might forget stuff going forward, and this way you can use the app as your go-to resource when there's a concept you want to work on or that you haven't understood yet fully. And you can get language certificates after each level, which is a nice thing, but they are not official. I did a placement test and I should start with B2, but let's have now a look only at A1. And this is where we left off, for example, and now you can do a lesson with me. But before that, on the top you also see the streak. Currently I have a streak of 0 days because I didn't follow up on that. And you have also a weekly leaderboard that should motivate you to do your learnings. On the top right you also see a notification which is about the community aspect, but more on that later. Now let's do this exercise together. So this is vocabulary, as you can see here, and the next one would be grammar, and but let's do this one now.
¿Qué quieren tomar?
¿Qué quieren tomar? Now I need to find the right word. Here we go.
¿Qué quieren tomar?
¿Qué quieren tomar? That's also something I would recommend to you. Always when you do an exercise, repeat it out aloud, and this will definitely help you later with your speaking.
¿Qué quieren tomar?
¿Qué quieren tomar? Gonzalo is ordering drinks. Is he? True or false? Then you need to pick. Oh, and it's false. So the waiter says this to ask customers what they want to have. Okay?
Para mí, un café solo, por favor.
Para mí, un café solo, por favor. And there you go. And now the exercise is done. You see your score, you see how many stars you've earned. With those stars, that's a bit gamification, but really slightly only. Okay, we started a streak. It also wants to give you goals to achieve, and then you can say what your goal is to do a streak and for how many days and so on. Let's say, I don't know, 7 days. And then you move on. And here's the community aspect, which is super cool. So at the end of certain exercises, you can also upload a description of a picture or something where you need to say something or write something, and then other people can correct it. And that's super cool. And you can also correct stuff that others have uploaded. Like here.
What's your name?
And then you would, do a correction. And you can also see the friends that you have already, and you can comment the stuff that they are doing. And here you have the Me tab, where you can see your streak, the languages you are learning, how far you've come. So back in the days, I've done all the exercises for Italian and French, and did also all the certifications. But now the courses have been revamped, I think, and thus my percentages dropped way down. But yeah. And with Spanish, I did the placement test, which is why I've already 50%, even though I haven't done many of those exercises yet or chapters yet. So the browser version is basically the same. There's only one tiny difference, and that is that you can do those video descriptions in the social conversations tab. And in the app, you can only do picture descriptions. And also the live lessons you could book extra have been discontinued. Now let's come to the pros and cons. So the app design is logical and you find everything easily. It has also been refreshed a little bit. There are now 14 languages available. The content feels handmade and not generic. This hasn't changed. It can help you also to notice things, especially at a later stage, as we have already discussed earlier. And the community aspect is really cool to get things corrected and to gain motivation. Also, there are many different exercises, including even some comprehensible input. And the vocabulary and grammar review section is really cool if you want to look things up. When it comes to the negative points, there's no real spaced repetition algorithm for the learned vocabulary. Also, some languages don't have sufficient resources yet. They scratched the 2-year plans, and now the cheapest is the 1-year plan with about €7 per month, or yeah, also almost $7. Total is about $84 or euro per year. It gets more expensive the shorter the subscription span, of course. Unfortunately, there's still no lifetime option. Since the last time that I've reviewed Busuu, it has improved quite a lot, and most of the negative points I have raised have been fixed. Just make sure that you're using Busuu on the side and not as your main learning resource. Reading and listening to the language should be your main activity. Only then you can utilize the noticing hypotheses to your advantage. Also make sure to check if the language you are learning has sufficient resources within Busuu before making a subscription. Otherwise, it might be the wrong choice. And of course, first of all, try the free version. Please let me know in the comments if you use Busuu or a similar app and if it helps you to learn languages and to notice stuff. If you want to know how I learn languages, have a look here. Or if you are interested in more app reviews, I got a whole playlist for that as well, somewhere here. If you found the video useful, please leave me a like and a subscription to the channel, and to not miss anything going forward, click also on the notification bell. Thank you so much for watching, and see you the next time.